Hey there, friends. I am so excited to connect with everybody today. If you are new to this community, I am Kelly Lepart, and I am so passionate about helping you reach your dreams and your goals and start living the life that you love living using manifestation and mindset techniques, and to really tap into your own power of who you really are. So, today, I it was brought to my attention, and I had also been just finding awareness around the the power in the words that we speak and the power in the words that we think. Um, because yes, we are told all the time that, words have power and that you need to be aware of the words that you're speaking and that conscious language. But what does that really mean? I'm having fun with my filters today. This one's kind of fun. So, what does that really mean? So, it all comes back to the very foundation that everything is vibration. Everything has a frequency. So, every word has that frequency. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he did a study using ice and ice crystals, using water, that he took different words and put it on a jar, and then, did some freezing of the ice or the water. And depending on what the word was that was on that jar, it either connected and like made a beautiful network of ice crystals, or it was very like um distorted and just not well put together. And like, that's so powerful. So just knowing that the foundation of the words that we speak, whether we speak them out loud and we verbally like put vibration to them, the words that you speak are very powerful. And the words that you're thinking, the things that you think in your mind that you would never even consider speaking on anybody else, also holds so much power, because the frequency or the vibration with those words is super important. So it puts us on a level. So I can't find, so like I have this notebook here, and it has just a series of lines, right? So there's innumerable frequencies on the planet, right? So we know this because our phones, we all have a phone number, and we type in that number and we hit send, and we know that we're going to connect with your mom or your dad or your sister, or like they're on that specific frequency for that number, right? So recognizing that everything has a vibration. So when we come to the words that we speak, some feel really good, like joy and happiness, elation, love, um, and then some just don't feel good, right? Some like, oh, I'm so dumb. I shouldn't have done that. Like, this is stupid. Um, never gonna succeed. I need this to work. I need this to work, right? Like, they have like a whole different feeling to them. And so I wanted to just like get a conversation going, and talk about like our language, the words that we speak, and the words that we speak to ourselves, and that we need to be really aware of them, because you wouldn't speak it if it didn't connect with a belief, if it wasn't something that you really, you don't want to claim something that you don't want to be your belief. So each of us is responsible for our own attitude. What is your attitude? It's your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. All those three things bring about your attitude, right? And so how do we express our attitude? We express it in the actions that we take, but and also the words that we speak. If you have, a very positive attitude about something, you're going to have very positive words to speak about it, both in your mind and out on the outside. And so same goes if you don't have a positive attitude about something. So the words we use influence our results. The results are what comes back to us, right? So if we go to the universal um, law of attraction, then we are in harmony with a certain thing because of the vibration that we are in. And going back to the words that we're using, the words that we're thinking, right? That sets our vibration, how we're feeling. And so the very words that we use influence our results, influence the things that we attract to ourselves. So it's either bringing us in and it's constricting, it's like, or it's helping you to expand and to grow and to become more. So it's either bringing you in and you're hiding and you're like not feeling awesome or able to be seen or heard, or it's helping you to expand, right? So remember that we need to shift our language into a very positive, expansive language. So I'll give you some examples. So if I say I need something, that comes from like a feeling of like it not being here. Of that comes from a feeling of like a wanting, a needing. I need this to happen. I need this to go well today. I need this sale, right? And it comes from, it's actually like a lack energy, right? It's not here versus I would love to have this. I would love to have the sale. I would love to have this go really well, right? Like I can feel the very distinct difference between the need and the I would love to. I would love to have this. I want this to happen. I would love for this to happen. So when I talk to people, I say, well, what would you love? Not what do you need? What would you love? It just feels very different. So another one that is common is people say, oh, I'll try to do this or I will try to do that. Well, here's the long and short of this. Either you do or you don't. There's no try, right? Try is like that gray area where nothing actually happens. It's you do or you don't. So either you are or you aren't. Okay? So instead of saying try, say I'm doing this. I am doing this. I'm not trying, right? There's no try. Either you are or you aren't. Okay? So another one that is oh, this is really hard, right? And we have it imprinted in our mind that things have to be hard or it has to be tough or it's really challenging or it's really difficult, right? Like we're dragging all of this old history and oh, this is really hard. It's like that um baggage or a ball and chain that you're just dragging around with you. Instead, you could say, up until now, maybe yesterday it was challenging or hard or but that was up until yesterday. Today, I choose for it to be easy. What if it could be easy? Because it's funny because we get guidance all the time, right? God, source, divine, your guides, universe is always giving you guidance, always like giving you ideas, always answering the questions that you're asking. So if you are saying, "Oh, why is this so hard? Why this is really challenging. This is really hard." Well, then it's going to give you all of the answers and more confirmation that it's hard, right? Let's choose to say, "Oh, so up until now, this wasn't the way I would love it to be, but what if it could be easy? How could I make this easy? How could I make this feel really good? How could I make this feel authentic? Right? So change the conversation. It feels so, so different. And just really notice like how you're feeling, because the feeling part of things is what puts you into action or takes you out of action, right? And it's also felt by everybody else, whether it's I'm sure everybody has had the experience of, you know, standing, looking away from the door, and then someone walks in, and you can, and maybe they have a really rough day and they're just fuming, right? Like you can feel it before they even open their mouth or you look at their face, right? And so it's that, and they're like projecting out that feeling, right? So if you are getting on to do like something in your business, or do a live, or network with people or connect with people, and you are not feeling awesome, maybe that's not the best time to do that, or you need to do something to shift how you're feeling, because I guarantee that it will be felt by the other person on the receiving side of it, right? Because we all know that frequencies, vibrations, they flow out from us very, very quickly. Sound travels like really fast. And so does, and sound, what is sound? Sound is a frequency, it's a vibration, right? And so in order to, like, if you're sending out an email, like make sure you're in a really good vibe, that before you're not just sitting down just to get it done, right? So recognizing up until now, and then recognizing the language that you're speaking to yourself. How can I make this easy? Let's make this easy. What would make this feel better? Okay. So we have negative energy and connections around the cost of things or the price of things. Oh, we check, oh, what's the cost of that? How much is this going to set me back? Oh, what's the price of that? Right? Like, oh, that just doesn't feel good. But an investment could be a very positive thing, right? That has a very different feel to it, has a different frequency to it. An investment is gonna, when you make a purchase, it's coming back to you, right? It's a give and receive, right? Whereas if we're just paying for something, we're what's the cost? What's the price? Like, how much is this setting me back, right? Like, let's change. I mean, your investment in your dinner or your groceries, or every purchase that you make is an investment. It's an investment into yourself, into your health, into your enjoyment, into your lifestyle. So change that feeling around, like, when you are spending money, you know oh, this is so expensive, oh my gosh, right? Like, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. But just remember, like, nothing is big or small, right? It's whatever we choose to connect with it, right? It's just a number. My daughter, oh my gosh, I love kids because they are such amazing teachers. So my daughter is 4, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, you say a number and she's like 155,000 million billion, she just throws out all these numbers. I'm like, yeah, it's something like that. Or if something's like way far off, I'm like, she's like, oh, it's 175,000 weeks from now. I'm like, yep, it kind of feels that way, right? Like, it's just a number. It doesn't have to, like, be this negative thing. It doesn't have to be big or small. It just is, right? And we give it value. So, um, instead of saying I can't, when you say I can't do something, then that just, I can't do this because I don't have the money. I can't do this because I don't have the time. I can't do this, right? Like, it doesn't feel good to not, to, like, I can't do something. So what if we changed our language to I choose not to? I choose not to invest in this right now. right? And then I will get into a whole different conversation about money and our conversation and our words and our feelings around money, but that's for a whole different conversation. But just instead of saying I can't, let's change it to I choose not to invest in this right now. Or I choose not to invest my time in this right now, right? When you have someone who else in here, I want you to put a 5 in the comments as a yes person. You've always been like wanted to help people feel better. You always want to um make people happy and do things for other people. And so you always say yes to things. Well, what if you only said yes to things that you were in 100% harmony with? Right? Yes. Total big 5 right here. So, and so when we say yes to something that we're not like 100% on board with, then it makes us like when we come around to saying yes, we've got like this negative, oh, I said yes to this. I really don't want to do it, right? Like it makes you not want to say yes to things. So it's all about the energy that we put around something. So I choose to do this because I'm choosing, right? Um, I'm saying yes to this because I would love to do this. Not I need to do this, right? Like I would love to do this. So instead of like I will do this or I could do this, I would do this if I could, like it's just an I am. The I am statements, like anybody that has ever done affirmations, I am is such a powerful, like it's so powerful. And it connects us to source, right? It connects us to the divine. And so when you say you are, I am dumb, you're claiming that, you're feeling that, even if like, my someone might come in and like tease me, saying, you're stinky or you're funny or you're, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not claiming that. Uh-uh. I'm radiant, I am light, I am positive, I am winning, I am, like really be conscious of what you're speaking, because words have power. And I love to I mean, many of us are very more aware of the words that we speak, right? But we think that, oh, the words that we don't verbalize, we don't think have as much power, which when you do speak it, and even in the space of like social media and everything where we type things, it still has that vibrational power, right? Because you're confirming it, you're putting out into the world, and you're speaking it. It has that same vibration. Whereas, we also forget about the power of the words that we speak in our mind. So I was talking with someone and I was actually talking to my dad, and he was like downing himself and just having a rough time of it because he had dredged up a whole bunch of stuff from his past for something that he was doing with the Veterans Society. And so I was like, don't you dare speak any of that BS to yourself. I was like, you don't talk anything to yourself that you wouldn't speak to me, right? Because we are I mean, I used to be that way. I used to speak very positive on the outside. I was the most positive person that anybody would ever want to meet on the outside, but on the inside, I was shoulding and coulding myself, right? And oh, I should have done this, I shouldn't have done that, right? Like you're no good at this, blah blah blah. Like if you wouldn't speak that to a child, if you wouldn't speak that to your loved one, to your partner, like um then don't speak it to yourself. Don't even, because thoughts, which are the words that we speak, you obviously wouldn't have spoken it if you didn't think it. So thoughts create feelings. And if we're, putting it out on paper, or we're feeling it, we're putting it out into the world, that's going to create a feeling for you and a feeling of whatever's coming back to you, right? And that creates, however you're feeling, it puts you into action or it takes you out. It's either expanding you. I'm having fun with these. Okay, so it's either expanding you, these circles are going out, or it's contracting, like making you come in, right? So getting really aware of the words that we speak or say. Do I really want to believe that? Do I really, is this enhancing me or is it bringing me down? Um, because when we're really aware of the words that we're speaking and the words that we're thinking and what we're putting out there, right? It changes everything. So just, recognizing vibration is everything. Energy is everything. Everything has a vibration or frequency, right? So your words, like I think of music, you know, I was with someone once that listened to um really dark heavy metal, all that kind of stuff, and um or even the movies that we watch, the language that the people are speaking. I used to really like the intense horror movies and all that, and something shifted and I cannot be, and I do not like them at all um anymore, which drives my husband crazy. But it's just my soul, literally just it does not feel good, and then it might trigger you to think down a weird path or something, and it just doesn't feel good. And so there's different music and stuff that has that lower frequency, that lower vibe. And maybe I definitely in my childhood or younger years had music that when I was feeling like I needed to torment myself about something, I would listen to that music, right? And it would keep you in that flow or that vibration. Whereas, you know when I wanted to be happy, I would listen to something else. So just noticing, you know, the words that you're speaking, are they speaking life into you, into your world, into your business, into the people around you? Or, is it speaking life? Is it helping them to expand? Or is it pulling you down? Even if you say it jokingly, it's still a thought, right? You wouldn't have said it if you didn't think it. So it's really good, and it's really important to be conscious and aware of the thoughts that we're thinking, the thoughts that we're speaking, and what we're putting out there. Um, yeah. So I'm just curious, does where do you find challenges more in the positive speaking? Is it, you know, more internal, or do you say things and then later be like, why did I say that? What was I thinking? Do I really believe that? Right? Because sometimes we just are in the habit of talking a certain way. Um, and then we don't realize it later, until later, what it really meant that we were saying. So yeah, I'm just, any thoughts or tips and tricks that you have to helping keep you aware of the words or language that you're speaking. um, I think is really important for us all to share, because we all have these habits that we speak, right? And we live. and it's deeply ingrained, and we speak things over and over and over and over and over and over to ourselves and to other people without really deciding whether or not we believe them, right? And if we don't really believe it, then we don't need to be speaking it. And so how can we change that conversation, right? um so if you do find that you have something that you speak over and over and over, and you're like, why do I keep saying that? That's not true. I don't think that, right? So, what would the opposite be? What would the opposite of that thing that you've been saying? Oh, so um, a beautiful friend um, said something this morning on social media, and about what was it about? Not being able to get aligned with her electronics, like computer or printer or something. And she was basically asking for help, like someone to help her figure out how to get this going. And then she made a comment. She's like, "Yeah, I'm dumb when it comes to this." And I'm like, "Do you really want to believe that you're dumb? Because that just doesn't sound good." I was like, "Don't claim that." So maybe something that could be said instead is, um, "I have not fine-tuned my skill to this yet. I am still learning. I am still getting better." Like, I'm growing in this skill, right? So don't claim something um that you don't really want to claim. Okay. And then yeah, so Sarah, you're right. Like, being very positive on the outside, but um other people's like frequency vibration is, if they've, because whatever the dominating energy in a space is will be the one that everybody adjusts to, right? So if you're very strong and like seated and grounded in like your positive energy and your positive, frequency and thinking and everything. And it's just like it sometimes you come up on people and it just radiates out, right? Like it's like um then either the people that have the negative energy will not be in that same space, or they'll adjust, right? Like my husband knows that I do not love cursing. I don't curse. And it drives him crazy because I say other things instead of that. And so he'll, he curses or whatever, and those just have really low frequency vibration. And he'll come in and he'll be talking, and then he'll just automatically adjust, to um talking differently. So it's and just like when our kids are around, right? Like he adjusts. He doesn't speak those words when they're around. Well, maybe we shouldn't be speaking those ones at all, right? So um noticing, having that awareness that maybe um other people's energy is having that effect on you, right? So like you said, clearing that energy, right? Like clearing, because everybody's energy, like it can stick, and we can carry energy for other people. Have you ever like met up with someone and then they tell you all their woes and everything, and then you leave and you're like, you feel kind of heavy, and then you're like kind of off, and you're just like, oh, wow, I don't understand, like I felt good earlier. Like what happened? Well, you're carrying some of that like low vibe with you, right? And so a good practice to do is to like clear that, right? Imagine yourself in a bubble of light. I actually do really love this filter because it has like this bubble, right? And then like nothing can come in, right? It bounces off. It bounces off, right? Your space is your space. And so you can do that, and then you can also, I had a thought and it went away, so it wasn't meant to be shared. Um so clearing and letting go of that energy is really important. And knowing that, just claiming yourself back. But also like, that's interesting when someone's telling you something, and then change the subject to something positive, right? Change the subject to something positive about them, right? They'll get on board with that conversation. Or something different if they don't want to be the spotlight, right? So we can always be that positive change. We can always like have that positive vibration and positive frequency. And the more of us that shift the conversations to something positive, I think we're going to see a really big shift in the awareness and how the world shows up. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you got some insights out of it. Thank you so much for connecting with me today. And if you're watching the replay, do hashtag replay. And of course, leave the comments because I would love to know your thoughts and ideas about this conversation. All right. Expect abundance, my friends. Be aware of your language and have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon.